Nobody is inherently worthless. There's no such thing as an inherently worthless person. Can we do worthless things? Yes. If based on our choices, based on our attitudes, based on our behaviors, we can do lots of worthless things that make us worthless. As far as how good of a husband are you? How good of a husband you are depends on how you behave as a husband, right? Your attitudes as a husband. Is that a reflection on you as a person, on what you just are? No, we're talking about two different things there. We're talking about inherent value, the inherent value you have because of what you are, a person. As a person, you can take on many different crowns, right? You can become a husband, you can become a dad, you can be a teacher, you can be a mechanic. Your value as a mechanic, as a father, as a husband, these depend on your performance and the attitudes that you live with in regard to those things. Think about that. Do you have a choice about whether or not you're a human being? You have no choice in that, do you? You can't change that even if you want to. Even if you want to change the fact that you're a human being, you can't. Can you change the fact of whether or not you're a husband? Sure you can. You have a choice in that. Can you choose whether or not you want to be a mechanic? Yeah, you get to choose what your career path is going to be. But do you get to choose whether you're going to be a human being or a banana? Or a praying mantis? Or a saber-toothed tiger? We don't get to decide what we are inherently. Fundamentally. We don't get to decide what we are fundamentally. Nothing fundamentally changes from what it is. You're born a human being. That's what you are. You can't face a more inherent truth than that, what you are. When we're talking about what you are as a human being, you have no choice in it. It will never not be true until you die. But during your lifetime, there's no change in it. You have no control over that. So that's the fundamental realities we're talking about. A person being a mechanic is not a fundamental reality. That is a superficial reality. The person right now is a mechanic. He doesn't always have to be a mechanic. He can, talking about my friend Jeff, he's a perfect example. He was a dental lab technician for the first, I'm going to say 15 years after he got out of school. So he had a lab right in his house, lived in Ashland, Kentucky. And what he did was he was the one who was making people's false teeth and stuff. So he was making teeth. And he had the whole lab set up in his house and everything. It looked like that was going to be his career forever and ever and ever. But about 15 years into it, maybe 20 years into it, he decides he wants to be able to do something that's a little bit more mobile. He wasn't really enjoying the work that much. So he went back to school and then he became a teacher. Do you see how that then cannot be a job profession, cannot represent inherent truths about you if you're able to choose something different? When what we're talking about here, the things of real strength and value and power are our understanding and perceptions over inherent things. This is why it's driving me crazy, man. When I was doing those dating apps, first thing everybody wants to talk about, what do you do for a living? In fact, it happens to me now. What do you do for a living? I said, I don't really want to talk about what I do for a living. Why not? Because at one time, what I did for a living reflected so much on me, right? It reflected so many truths about me. It was so important to me. Maybe some of you identify with that. How much money am I making? What kind of car am I driving? Reflects so many truths on me. And then after recovery, after authentically recovering from my emotional disorder, I realized those things don't reflect any truths about me. They reflect nothing about me. At best, what they do is reflect a period of time in my life and the things I was interested in at that time. And it just reflects a period of time in my life. That's it. But it doesn't reflect inherent truths about me. So There's some dating advice. Stop asking people what they do for a living. It doesn't provide you with as much insight into who they are truly as individuals as you think it does. Just because a person is a lawyer right now does not mean that they love law and studying law. They might have become a lawyer for just purely reasons of material gain. Think about that. That reflects their reasons for going into law reflect more on them than whether or not they're a lawyer or not.